Since coming to college, I have struggled spiritually more than I thought possible in a place where spiritual disciplines are encouraged and godly relationships are everywhere. And I remember my fall semester, I had a short break where I came home and I was not myself at all. I was angry, I was rude, I was emotional, and to be quite honest, I was very close to falling into a season of depression. And I remember one night when I was talking to my mom, and she just came up to me and she was like, "Sarah, are you okay? You're not being yourself at all." And I broke down in tears because that entire first half of my semester, I had been living the life of achievement. I had been pursuing status, and I had idolized grades and friendships more than my time with the Lord, and the busyness of my new schedule and lack of alone time that comes with college, all of these things had made my relationship with the Lord suffer. And maybe it wasn't you moving to college, whether it's good grades or a relationship or a status or a business or popularity or getting enough likes on Instagram. I promise you that a life of achieving will always leave you lost in the desert, wandering for water that only the Lord can provide. And I tell you that story of my experience in college and how I was able to literally start losing my relationship with the Lord and just drifting away from Him, even in that spiritual place. Because one, if you're in a spiritually dry season, you are not alone. And two, God can redeem those desolate seasons even where it feels as though He is miles and miles away. And as we talk about this idea of achieving and living a life of achievement, I want us to understand that the world will always be having new rungs on the ladder for us to climb. Whether it's you have to have this relationship by this age, you have to have this GPA, this car, you have to have this house, this body, this college. The world is always going to be throwing stuff in front of us that we need to be achieving, the next thing that we need to do in order to find happiness and joy. And what God offers is so much more restful, but it's also so much more fulfilling. And it is so beautiful. So if you go to John 15, verses 4 through 8, we will read about this. So it says, "Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit, for without me ye can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered, and men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit, so shall ye be my disciples." So as I was reading this passage, I really wanted to dive into what this word abide really means, because I've heard it all throughout my life, but I truly wanted to understand what it was saying. And so one of the definitions that I found that really fits with this passage is so beautiful. It's all it is it means to continue in a place. And I think this definition is so cool because of how simple it is. Because all we must do to abide in the vine is just to continue in His presence. How simple is that? And so a really cool picture of what abiding looks like is what a tree does when it is growing and throughout its life. Whenever you look at a tree, you don't see it struggling and striving to grow and to stretch its roots far into the ground. It simply just grows. It remains in its same spot. It is set in the ground, and it just does what it was made to do naturally, and it grows. And it should be just as simple as inhaling and exhaling this life that God is calling us to. And something that really clicked in my brain, because even when I hear this word abide, it triggers me into my achieving mindset. Something that is really cool to think about is it's not a new box to check for those of us who like to make out our list, and now this is going to say abide with a box beside it. It is a new life to live. And that is the life that God calls us to just sit at His feet and remember that there is only one needful thing, and that is to abide with Him. So even in the midst of the chaos and the clamor of this world, we can rest knowing that our God does not measure our success by how much we can do, but by what He's already done. And we can rest in that truth. And so Today, I encourage you to stop trying to climb the world's ladder of success, because I have been there, and I promise you that it will leave you empty and broken and withering away like a tree that is not growing and setting its roots deep. And instead, just simply abide in the vine of everlasting life and drink forth of the waters that He so graciously provides. I encourage you to just sit in His presence, read His Word, ask Him to help you to let go of the achieving life, and just fall into His arms of grace. How kind that He does not ask us to work ourselves to death or spend our lives trying to measure up. All He asks of us is just to continue in that place with Him, to abide with Him. The world urges us to strive towards temporary treasures, but the life that God offers is a life of rest and peace that showcases the beauty of His redeeming grace.